Welcome into our very first ever live edition of Rebound Off the Net. I'm your host, Joshua Cox. It's our first ever schedule release night in the AF1, and we have a big list of guests tonight to break things down, as well as to talk about the offseason, the 2025 season ahead. Our first guest tonight is former AFL wide receiver and linebacker. He's now the director of football operations for the AF1. He's also a fellow Texan. We welcome Gary Compton. Gary, thanks for joining us tonight, man.
Thank you for having us. I know it's a busy night, so we appreciate it.
Yeah. First off, for those who don't know you, give people a snapshot about your arena career and your involvement in the arena game.
So started playing. My first year in arena football was in '92. Was in Dallas for a couple years, and then I came to Milwaukee when Milwaukee had a franchise up here. Spent most of my career in Milwaukee, '95 through 2001. Ended up winning a championship with Tampa in '03. Obviously, the bouncing around was due to the free agency that we had finally had. Finished out my career in Philly in '04, '05. Spent some years coaching in arena football. Got out of it for a while, that had the opportunity to get back in when Jerry Curtis gave me a call and to kind of help out with the debauchery last year. We made all that work, got everything settled and everything, and now here we are, AF1 2025 kickoff, and very excited.
Absolutely, yeah. I saw a very unique thing today when I was reading your player bio. It said you won the Build Ford Tough Man of the Year award. What is that award?
So back in the day, Ford was a league sponsor. And so what it was each week a player was nominated as player of the week for each team. And then there was a voting system and all of that by the fans and the coaches and the owners and everybody. Then at the end of the year, Ford gave a truck away, and they gave that truck away at the Arena Bowl, which is kind of some of the stuff back behind me. 2001 in Grand Rapids at Arena Bowl 15 was obviously when I was the winner of that award and was able to have that. It was probably one of the most prestigious awards that I've had, to be nominated like that and be that player of the year, for the Arena Football League. So it's very neat. They give you a trophy of a big diamond cut, side runner boards and everything. That's way too heavy to put on the wall. I have it down in the basement. But yeah, it was a unique, trophy, a unique year for me then, and just glad to have been a part of the old regime in the AFL and have won that.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you're talking to Adam there earlier about the changes in the arena game. You're the rules guy. I disagree with Adam. You're an old school guy like me. Can you get Stockman outlawed?
Yeah, it's kind of different. Times do change. We all know that. I'm a big component of Ironman football. That's what the game was built on. That's how we played the game. But understand it more now than ever with kids and people and all that as you watch the game. Besides really Travis Hunter, he's one of the only ones that is like that. But everybody is so specialized. Everybody's specialized on one side. You couldn't find a wide receiver to play DB anymore. You might be able to find a DB to play receiver a little bit, but you're not going to have that back and forth and everything else. We get it. Times change. You have to move on, advance with times and all that. So everybody's specialized. Don't have to worry about it, but it's a great opportunity, and it gives kids a platform, for those that are still looking to, try to get to the ultimate goal of the NFL.
Yeah, change is sometimes hard to deal with for me in the arena football game. So
absolutely.
You kind of got involved last year when things were chaotic. What made you want to get back in and involved in the game?
Well, Jerry Curtis is a dear friend of mine. Jerry and I have known each other for over 30 years since I was playing, and seen him as a coach, a commissioner, everything of that nature. And he called me and wanted to know, would I be interested, when he was talking about it. And I said, yes, this is my passion. As I told everybody, that shield that shows the AFL, the arena football, is what made me who I am. And it gave me so much for my family and everything like that, it was a no-brainer. So I said, yeah, let's dig in. Let's do what we have to do to, try to salvage it and make it work. And we were able to do that.
Yeah, good job with that last year. You added some new markets this year: Wilkes-Barre, Corpus Christi in Arizona for 2025, and then we're going to get Monterey and Stockton in 26. What did you see in these new markets that you think they'll be successful?
Well, and I think a lot of it is, look at Wilkes-Barre, way back, 2001, 2002, that, AF2 Day is a great market. We wanted to put another market in the East there, to battle with, Albany, Nashville, and Orlando. Corpus Christi, what do you say? They're down in Texas. That's a hotbed, as you know that, You live there now. I used to live there and everything. That's a hotbed of players that you can get just around that Houston area. Solid ownership group there, great place where they play. Then Arizona, again, that's a hotbed, a lot of talent, a lot of places, down there and everything. A lot of people say, oh, Arizona, because, you got the Rattlers and you have Tucson, but everybody has their own niche and all that. I think Matt Mason and those guys are going to do a great job down there in Arizona. Then out west in Oregon, that kind of solidifies that whole Pacific Northwest out there. They wanted to come back in, and then Coach Jones and that group has done a great job. So if you look at it the way it's laid out in the fours, 4 here, 4 there, 4 there, the way we broke the divisions down, it kind of all played out, the way we wanted it to.
Absolutely. You kind of touched on one thing I wanted to hit next. New team there in Arizona. You got a very strong IFL market there with a former AFL team. What makes you think that this team in Arizona will be successful and draw fans in from the other teams?
I think, Matt and them wanted to come in last year, and they did it and everything. So I thought that was a right move by them. It's given them a year to lay the foundation, to see that market there in Tempe. And where they're going to play and everything. And I think that's going to be, it's going to be a great opportunity for them as anything else. And this too, and in big cities and big states like that, and especially warm cities, everybody's want to get out and do things. And so, able to have that out there. Yeah, they're battling, with the Rattlers and everything else. But like I said, it's 2 totally different games, as we know, and all of that. And I think Matt and Coach and his staff that he has, and the ownership group, I think they'll do a great job there.
Let's talk about salary. Last year, players on most teams made about $1,000 per week, or some more. This year, it's going to be more like $400. How did you all land on that number, and do you think that's enough gap from the other competing leagues we have out there?
Yeah, I think it's enough gap. Players will play because of the opportunity to get to where they want to be. As a lot of times it's not all about money, but realistically, it is all about money. So, we tried to set it to where, it was higher than some, all the other indoor leagues, and everything, and give them, as I tell everybody, arena football, it's a unique game. And what makes it unique are those nets. And that's what makes the game so much different, from the IFL, the NAL, not bad-mouthing any of them, but that game is just different. And be able to get those players over, to our league and everything, and to be able to pay them that type of salary. And the biggest thing of it is too, is then you have those guys able to get in the communities and work and be able to get jobs. You keep them in the off season. Now you're able to use them for marketing, promotion. So it's just more than, hey, what am I getting paid salary during the week as, hey, what can I benefit from this whole entire thing?
Yeah. You see that maybe increasing as the game grows?
Yeah, I think so. You look at it every year, with all of that, and see how it goes. And, obviously that's way above my pay grade, with everything. But we kind of look at it year after year and discuss it and talk about it. But I think where we landed at it at 400 is a good start for these guys and be able to get the talent, that we have.
What did you all learn from the previous group's mistake last year as you start this new league that you don't want to repeat to make this league successful this year?
Well, and I can only talk about from when I came in, and it was, it wasn't done the right way and everything. We had to clean up a lot of things. And, one of the biggest things that Jerry was using as we were talking as a unit, and I say a unit, the whole entire arena is together. Everybody's got to be together. We're all one piece of a puzzle. We all got to believe in one another, and we all got to believe that it's the right thing. And if we do that and we can continue to build this, as you've seen, we built it to 12. We've already got the teams for 2026 and continue to grow this thing, the way that it was and get it back to that platform to where it used to be. With that and, generate TV and, get everything going with all that and have all the people around that, want to pack the stands. I used to tell everybody, I remember playing in Tampa when it was 27,000, Orlando when it was 19, Arizona when it was 19, all these places you go and play. And you want to see guys be able to grow the benefit of that and be able to play in front of, sold out crowds. And it's, we're just starting out with all of that, but I think it's a lot of things we can do. And I think we have all the right people in the place, from players, coaches, ownerships, all the way through.
You played arena football and have been around the game for a long time. I personally like the historical teams, the Preds, the Firebirds, the Cats. Any thoughts on maybe eventually bringing back some of those historical teams?
Well, you would like to. I think that when you do that, the name recognition, is the big thing. It's just like you said, when you say Albany, Orlando, you're talking about the 90s, with that, you talk about Nashville, in the early 2000s, I just saw in the fan chat, a guy was talking about Chicago, love to have a team in Chicago. I think that would be a great market to be able to have, but to hit other markets and maybe bring back those names. But however, the biggest thing of it is too, when teams come in those markets, maybe they want to not identify as that. They want to be something different. But as you can tell, a lot of diehard fans, they want that old school name and all of that because, like you said, it is the name recognition and everything. And, when you just say that everybody, say Nashville, Orlando or Albany, Orlando, you're thinking of Barry Wagner and Eddie Brown and, all Mike Pulowski, all those guys that, played the game back then and, Tampa and Orlando, the war on I-4 and all this stuff. And, those were the good old days. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'd like to get back there. Last question for you, man. Where do you see or want this league to go? What is the ultimate destination for you want the league to get to?
I want it to get to where it's stable, it's recognized, it's successful. I think that's the biggest thing. There's been a lot of hard work put in by a lot of people, and a lot of experienced people that knows what it takes to get to where it is. We wouldn't do this if we didn't think it was successful. As I've always said, I don't like putting my name on anything that I don't think can be great. And I think that, we started that. It's a process, obviously. Rome wasn't built overnight, but we're going to lay that foundation with everything, and we're going to build it each and every year and grow it into something special.
Yeah, absolutely. Gary, appreciate your time, man. We'll talk to you down the road here.
All right. Thank you. You take care and have a great night.
Yeah, thank you. That was Gary Compton, former AFL great, and played a little linebacker and wide receiver back in the day. We're thankful for him for coming on. We're going to have next year, we're waiting on Coach Damon Ware, who's going to join us as the Firebirds open the season against the Orlando Predators in Orlando, which is going to be a really big game. But enjoyed talking to Gary there. As he's talking about the end there, I hope we bring back some of those old retro teams. I saw the Chicago Rush down there in the comments. That would be a great franchise to bring back. So let's see here. We're planning on having Damon Ware, then Jeff, AF1 Commissioner Jeff Fisher, Billings Outlaws coach Cedric Walker, and then we'll end the night with Orlando Predators head coach EJ Burt. So should be joined momentarily here by Damon Ware. We'll have an episode breaking down the AF1 schedule here in the next week or so. I haven't got the chance to look at all of it yet. Looked at the opening games, but we'll have a show breaking that down here pretty soon. But looking forward to kind of digging into that. Watched a little bit of the schedule release show. Haven't got all of it watched, but we'll get into that soon. Let's make sure Coach Ware is not having any issues getting in. Let's see. Oh, there he is. We welcome in head coach Damon Wayer. Coach, how are you today?
Been a busy day, but excited. The schedule's finally out, and now we know who's on the clock, and we can get to work.
Yeah, exciting time out there. You open the season with no other than Orlando. I like to call this the rivalry no one says is a rivalry. You told me before last season, and I'm paraphrasing, that it's not a rivalry because they hadn't beat you. Rivalry is something that happens on the field. Has things changed, and what are your thoughts on your opener against the Preds in Orlando?
Yeah, Orlando, they put together a really good team last year and gave us some great, unbelievable moments. Was super excited. Obviously, I have a tremendous amount of respect for Coach Burt, but they did a great job on putting together a team, and so they're definitely on the rise. The way they're recruiting, the way they're putting some things together. So the rivalry is building for sure. But again, I have a lot of respect for that organization. Spending a little bit of time with them, obviously, in my times down there. But we're excited. Last year's game was the one of the most exciting games I think I've ever been a part of or seen when I went back and watched the game again. And so, if we can expect that kind of excitement between us, these games will be a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a great football game there opening week. You're going to be in the East Division, Nashville, Orlando, Wilkes-Barre. It's probably going to be the toughest division. We'll see what Wilkes-Barre has, but Nashville and Orlando is definitely going to be tough. What are your thoughts on this division, alignment?
I love the pressure. There's no doubt about it that we've got the toughest division, and that comes with the territory. That just comes with geography. But we got a great set of coaches. I'll let Wilkes-Barre announce their coaching staff and all that, but just great coaches, obviously, Nashville's coach is a tremendous coach, EJ Burt, good coach, myself and Wilkes-Barre, all good coaches that have all won games. And so this is going to be a juggernaut, and that's going to make it a whole lot of fun. And the way I'm glad the league is just addressed trying to keep the costs right, trying to make this a sustainable league for the next 20 years. And so I love they're addressing all the little issues that need to be addressed for us to be sustainable. And so, but facing this division, three times each, that's a gauntlet. And I'm just glad this year we've got a couple of bye weeks.
It'll come in handy, yeah. You told me it was Arena Bowl or bust last season. You're coming off an Arena Bowl loss last season where teams played great against you down the stretch to win games. Why do you ultimately think at the end of the day you weren't able to finish the job last year?
I mean, it had a lot to do with our schedule. We had a gauntlet of a schedule, not having any breaks. It just caught up to us, and we had a tremendous camp, and I've just said it all along as we had a 14-day training camp where we had 35 of the best athletes in the country, and we battled it out. It took us a lot of evaluating and time to come down to our final roster. And then again, once the game started, it was just tough team after tough team after tough team without a break, and it caught up to us down the stretch. And so, obviously, this year we're going to take a look at just some of those things on how we can lessen some of the load on the players' bodies, what we can do to sustain, better health. Obviously, this year, but that's going to be, again, it's going to be a tough thing going into this season as well. Our division is great. Like I said, we're going to be playing phenomenal teams and coaches a more majority of the schedule. So we're gonna have to deal with the same thing again this year, but just glad we have 2 bye weeks that are scheduled in there, and I think those will help us a lot.
Absolutely, yeah. Through seeing a lot of teams fold in during last season, all the issues coaches and a lot of people had to endure, does it make you more thankful that you're in a franchise with Albany that is stable and not going anywhere? What makes Albany so special to you?
Yeah, going into my 5th year here, there's just no place I'd rather be, and I got some pretty good offers to go elsewhere, and I turned them all down. And like I said, I live here. This is part of my community. My family's here, so at the end of the day, Albany's home, and I have no intentions of leaving anytime soon. So just absolutely love our environment. We've got a great arena. We've got a great organization. Everybody from our owners down to our equipment managers want to win and win championships, and it takes a great deal of effort just in recruiting players. I tell people how hard it is to play in Albany. We literally get everybody's Super Bowl shot. And I mean, it doesn't matter. We go on the road, we're going to have the biggest crowds come to watch us and scream and yell at us at home. I don't care if you get an 0-10 team come to play us in Albany, they're going to give us their best game of the year. And so it's hard, but I love that, that kind of pressure. I mean, that fuels my fire. It keeps me working 16 hours a day. I absolutely love everything about our brand, about our organization, about everybody in our organization. It's a great group of people that really want to win and they want to do things at a high level. And so, but going back to the league, I don't even like talking about last year. It was a blip in the radar. Those things are going to happen in business, but the people that are running the league now, and just a testament of today, just being completely different than how it was last year. I'm super happy. Like I said, we do our coaches meetings every week. Gary Compton's doing a phenomenal job. Jeff Fisher's doing a phenomenal job. Jerry Kurz is doing a phenomenal job. When you have people that are passionate about the sport, they love the game and they want to see the game grow. It means everything in the world. And so everything that happened last year, hey, that was a blip on the radar. We made it to the championship game. We didn't seal it, but I feel
I'm not sure. I think we might have just lost Coach Ware. Let's see if we can get him back in. Not sure what happened there. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Not sure what happened to Coach Ware there. See if we can get him back in here. Coach Ware, are you there?
Yeah. I don't know.
Sorry
My
about that. I
phone
don't know
rang
what
and
happened
I
there.
lost it somehow. That was weird.
You have a decent amount of players returning from last season. Do you think now, last year will ignite a hunger in this group?
It's always been a testament of just our program where guys want to come back and return, and I'm always proud about that. So each and every year, getting a lot of our players to come back keeps that continuity, keeps some of our core together. But I'm real excited about this team. We've recruited some new guys, obviously, that played in some other places, some really good rookies that we've signed. So ultimately, I'm going to be just as excited about this team as any other year. I love the recruiting process. It's really my funnest time. It's going to find the people that kind of match your culture. It kind of matches, what you want to become offensively and defensively. Retooled the coaching staff, obviously, and brought in some pieces that I think are going to just be excellent for us this year. So again, I'm really excited about this team, and as we're getting closer to the end of our recruiting process, I just can't wait to get to training camp. It's going to be another war of 35 guys looking for 24 spots.
Absolutely. A couple free agency questions. What's going on with Darius Prince?
Always those tough questions that people are going to ask. There's always that negotiation process. And, again, him and I have been together a long time. I have a great deal of admiration. Obviously, we've spent a ton of time together. And again, it's just things that you got to go through. There's times to let guys see what else is on the market. There's just a lot of things that you go through again when you've been with somebody a long time, and we're just going through the process. We've been through this for 5 straight years, so we'll continue to go through the process. And whenever we get guys signed, obviously we'll announce them.
Absolutely. Another free agency question I had for you. You moved on. You're not. I don't think you're bringing back Jake Medlock this year. Talk about replacing him. You brought in a new quarterback, Sam Castronova, that you used to have there in Albany.
Yeah, Jake did a good job for us last season, bringing him out of retirement. We hadn't worked together since 2018, and so bringing him back and seeing him play at a high level, that was great to see. So he's high school coach down in Florida, just came off a great season, and that's his main job. And so didn't know if there would be an opportunity to do it more than 1 year, but we wanted to put it together for a year. We did it and had a good job. Sam Casanova is he's just one of the best right now that's out there. Bringing him in 22, and just seeing him grow from being a rookie to beating out a guy that had won a championship to winning the championship in 22 with them was just a great time. He's a tremendous kid. He's a great character kid. He's got a great family system. He's just an ultimate football player. And so having him again, there's just more creativity I can do with him. He's at the top. It's rare that you really can catch a quarterback when they're right at their peak, and he's just now reaching the peak. He had a tremendous season in the other league, obviously last year, winning their offensive player awards at the end of the season. And so getting him back is crucial. He's a New York guy. He lives down the road about 3.5 hours. So that's a phenomenal thing. We like to keep our New York kids in New York, and this year we've really kind of focused on that. We got a lot of kids that are within a 4-hour radius that we've signed, and so that'll help us get more of their families to be able to watch them play and those kind of things. So really excited about this roster we're putting together.
Kind of along with that roster, who's a guy you're really excited about that's a new guy you've brought in on this roster?
Like I said, I'd never like to say one guy like it's not all of them, but Ezekiel Rose, bringing him in, defensive lineman. He was the most dominant kid that we faced last year. If he could play both inside and outside. He just was somebody we had to constantly be concerned about every snap of the ball. And so getting him to come over, it's super exciting. An area that we want to get more pressure, obviously from our defensive line, bringing him over with the guys that we're bringing back. I think that's going to be one heck of a group.
Yeah. So what do you have on your to-do list here the rest of the offseason? Kind of where you at for your roster overall? Kind of give us the lowdown there.
I think we're either 25 or 26 players signed so far. So we're getting pretty close. We've only got about 9 or 10 more roster spots. So again, obviously finishing the offseason is finishing off the roster, making sure that we've got the right blend of guys that can come in and compete and get ready to go on a championship hunt. Coaches meetings. We just had our first real long coaches meeting, obviously this past weekend. So that part is important, especially when you bring on some new coaches. Able to keep a lot of our offensive coaches intact, but defense is going to go through a little bit of change. And so got to get them used to doing things the way that I want them done, and all the effort that we put in. So that's that. And then that's obviously the business side. It's, now that the schedule's out, it's going to be getting our tickets out for sale. It's going to be continuing to work with community partnerships and those type of things. So there's no shortage of things that can be done right now. We got, it's kind of scary when you think only just a couple months left before camp starts. But there's just so much to do, and getting the schedule out at this time is going to help us tremendously on the business side.
Absolutely. Got a comment that flock support was in the house. Coach, I appreciate your time, man, as always. It's great to talk to you.
Awesome. You too. I'll talk to you again soon.
Talk to you soon.
All righty.
All right, that was Coach Damon Ware, the Albany Firebirds. Big thank you to him for coming on. I've talked to him probably 4 or 5 times now, so always good to talk to him. Always brings a wealth of knowledge of the game, and love his energy for the Birds. We're supposed to be joined momentarily by AF1 Commissioner Jeff Fisher. We'll also be joined by Billings Outlaws head coach Cedric Walker, and we'll end the night with Orlando Predators head coach E.J. Burt, the other side of the rivalry. So should be joined momentarily. But that's big news in the offseason there. Darius Prince still yet to sign in Albany. I think if they can get him along with the quarterback they got signed, it's going to be a really good year in Albany. Or it's going to be a really good year anyway, but I think that'll be really big for the Birds. So we'll see what happens there and see what happens with the rest of free agency. But we'll be joined momentarily by AF1 Commissioner Jeff Fisher. This is Coach Fisher's second season. Came through halfway through last year in the AFL. Kind of stabilized things and was able to help us finish out the season. Him and Jerry Kurz doing a great job. And Gary Compton there in the front office of the AF1 So really excited about that. Should be joined shortly here. We'll wait just a minute. Someone commented you recruited for Iron Man and then it changed. Yeah, I don't think Iron Man is coming back this year. I think it's going to be free substitution there. Whatnot, where we play the Preds. It'll probably be a Saturday night game, most likely. I would assume. We're waiting momentarily on Commissioner Jeff Fisher to join us. Okay, we are waiting momentarily. Sorry for the delay. Sorry for the delay, guys. We'll figure out what's going on. We're going to go to our next guest. We're going to bring in Coach Walker. We welcome in the three-time Arena Bowl champion, the 2024 AFL Coach of the Year, Coach Walker. Coach, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. How you doing?
Doing great, man. You opened up the season in Oregon this year. You never played them last year. What are your thoughts on the opening game?
Man, realistically, I'm just worried to try to see how training camp is going to be. You think about it. I know Coach Jones will probably have them ready, but my biggest focus is going to see how training camp goes. We're going to probably be a young team again, getting guys in here and let them get ready for it next year.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's talk Arena Bowl championship for a minute. This is your third title. With how last season everything went down, is this the most special one for you?
Absolutely. There was a lot that went on behind the scenes that a lot of people didn't know. Also how the league went, all the trial and tribulations, and then, basically the special group of guys that we had. I think we had all rookies except for probably about 2 or 3. And basically how, Steve Titus, navigated us through the season, through the ups and downs. But yeah, that was probably the best one.
Yeah. Yeah, you talked about it a little bit there. There was a lot of talk that y'all weren't going to be very good. I remember the league podcast called you a tier 3 team.
Oh yeah,
I was one of the only ones that said you would compete for a title.
Oh, trust me, we just saw what happened on YouTube. We still don't get no respect, but once again, we keep receipts, so we'll see how it goes.
Your assistant coach and former Rattler teammate Cedric Bonner was assistant coach of the year last year.
Yes.
You won coach of the year. What was it like being able to work together last season and ultimately win that championship?
It was great, absolutely great, because the one thing about it, we kind of referred to the team kind of like our '97 team. So when we spoke, we talked about Hunky Cooper, how some of these guys remind us of Hunky, Randy Gatewood. We had a play call called Gatewood, where it was more of a choice route. And Cedric Thomas reminded me so much of Cecil. So it was real nice to see us kind of reliving those days, almost 30 years ago. So it was good, man.
Yeah, I miss watching you all play back in the day.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. What was your most special moment last year outside of the championship game with your team?
You know what? Actually, I think it was, and people are going to laugh. It was the night before we played the Arena Bowl. The guys went down to the city of New York, because a lot of guys have never been to New York, and they just got to enjoy the moment. Because one thing, I told the guys, something I didn't get to do when I played in coach is just never got to enjoy the moment. Mm-hmm. Guys went down to the city and enjoyed it, and people probably laughed, but everybody kept talking about how big the rats were. That we laughed about that to the wee hours of the morning, and talked about Spider-Man getting Cedric Thomas. So it was good because it was a great group of guys that understood their roles. They understood what type of team we had. We wasn't the most physical. I mean, we were the physical, but we wasn't. I don't think we were as skilled as most teams were, but these guys played together. It was a great opportunity for us to win a championship. But with all that being said, that's in the past. In a couple of months, 2 or 3 months, you got to realize everybody's going to be going after the 2025 trophy.
Absolutely. You seem to find a special place in Billings with your owner, Steve Titus, and the rest of the people there. Do you have a sense of gratitude for having the opportunity to be a part of such a top-notch organization with a lot of organizations folding last year?
Absolutely. The one thing about Steve that I think a lot of guys that were here last year appreciate, he went above and beyond what we were supposed to do. You think about, we had guys come from Jersey, we had guys come from Pennsylvania. The one thing he did, he made a promise to these guys in regards to what he was going to do. He took care of the guys. He even took care of the guys on games that we didn't play. When there was some stuff with the league and everything. So I thought that was great, and absolutely his leadership in the league, because now I think with him, Mr. Curse, also with Mr. Fisher, and then Mike up in Albany, they've got a good stronghold on this league in regards to what needs to be done to take it, to the next level. And that's great that we have that type of leadership.
Yeah. What's this offseason been like for you? I know you told the Montana newspaper there a few days ago, there's been no offseason.
There is no offseason. Yeah, we call it between seasons. Ideally, I think realistically, if that, we probably had 10 days off, went to Alaska, even on a trip to Alaska. Every time we went to port, Steve and I were talking about what's happening, what we got to do for the 2025 season. So realistically, there wasn't too much time off. Good thing is that when we had the meetings in Chicago, you got to meet the other coaches, got to really see them outside the battle zone, and got to realize there was some good guys, and it was some good jiving going on in regards to what's going to happen this season. So realistically, we didn't have a off season.
What are you most excited about this new league? I know you're very familiar with Jerry Kerr's long-term AFL commissioner or
Right.
AFL commissioner back in the day. What are you most excited about the league and this free, fresh start after all that happened last year?
Leadership at the top. I know Mr. I've known Mr. Curse for a long time, and he's been around. He knows how to run things, and he surrounded himself with great people. With Tracy, with Christie, and also with Gary Compton. All those people understand what it's going to take for this league to grow and be strong. I know that we started. I think we got 12 teams this year. I like the pod thing that they're doing in regards to trying to make the league more. But I know that they have ideals. We already got expansion. The biggest thing is that we got great leadership at the top, and now it's our job to follow.
Absolutely. What do you think about the new markets that's coming to the league? Kind of what's your take on some of the new teams that's coming to the league?
You know what? I think it's good in regards to what's going on. I know Wilkes-Barre. I know we played against Wilkes-Barre and the Deuce back in the day. I know they got a great fan support up there, to getting them ready, and then also with Corpus Christi. Football in Texas is different. And like I said, Coach Jones is going to have the guys in Oregon ready to go. So I think now that we're a lot stronger. And I know that Arizona, the state of Arizona, me playing with the Rattlers, so I know there's talent in the state of Arizona. So I know that the teams that are coming in are going to be well coached and they're going to have some good talent.
Yeah. You're going to go back to Arizona to be able to play. What do you think it's going to be like?
Whoa, it's been a minute, man. So hope they remember what we used to do there. But the people there are absolutely wonderful. I know that. My 5 years there were great. My oldest daughter was born there, so it's going to be nice to kind of see some of the old guys. I know that Gatewood still stays there. Bo Kelly still stays there. Mark Tucker. So it's going to be good to kind of see him.
Absolutely. What's your thoughts on talked about a little bit about the division there. You got Oregon, Washington, Arizona. What are your thoughts on some of the teams in the division? What about some rivalries that could be formed there?
You know what? I allow the people in social media to get caught up in that rivalry stuff. Our job as coaches is to make sure our team is prepared during training camp, and nothing's really changed for us. Our job is to make sure that when we come out of training camp that we've got 21, 24 guys that understands the game. Then when we play that game, all our job is go 1-0 each week. I let the people in the social media and all the owners and all that get caught up in that. Our job is to make sure that we're 1-0 at the end of the week.
How are things coming along with your roster? I believe last I checked, you had 4 returning players. Give us an update about what's going on.
Right now we got 21 guys signed. Right now, we'll probably end up getting a couple more of the guys from the roster last year to come back. Some guys understand that this is a business in regards to, not everybody's going to be back. That's why, you enjoy the moments that you have. We've got some young guys that we're real high on. We've got a couple of linemen that I'm really, really can't wait to watch play. I think we're right where we need to be going into, the Thanksgiving break. Probably get a couple more guys signed by the end of the week, and then we'll see how everything's left over with the UFL and see if the guys with those showcases, everything, see if any guys still want to play and see if we can add them to the roster.
Absolutely. One notable absence we've seen so far, your MVP quarterback, Isaac Carker. Can you give me an update on him?
Absolutely, man. Isaac has got an opportunity to play in the UFL. The one thing about Isaac that I really appreciate is that he's been very open in regards to what he wants to do. And our job as the coaches is to make sure that they get to the highest level. Do we want Isaac back? Absolutely. But, there's always a chance that he can go somewhere else or he might retire. You never know. So our biggest thing is to make sure that we have a quarterback in the building along with the backups that we have to make sure that we understand what needs to be done. and I want the people in Billings to understand we won't have the exact same team that we had last year. That's why that team was special. We've got younger guys that's coming in. We got guys that are hungry. And the one thing is we've got some good veterans that's going to come back to lead these guys. And the biggest thing, we got a great fan base that's going to take these guys in.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you got Danny Southwick coming back, long-term arena
Oh yeah,
quarterback.
Danny. I've been with Danny. Me and Danny been linked together since 2012. That's a long time. You know what I'm saying?
Did you all play together any?
No, we didn't get to play. He ain't that old now. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But the one thing about Danny, I want everybody. He is the true pro. He understands his role. I mean, he's a great leader. He still has the itch. I mean, his wife is allowing him to play. The one thing about Danny is that great character. You ain't got to worry about him. He's gonna be in the playbook. He's gonna challenge. And one thing I think that was good at him and Isaac were roommates, and they just challenge each other each night, and I think that helped out. If we get Isaac back, then that would be great. If not, whoever quarterback that we bring in is going to be it's going to be a big challenge for him to get past Danny.
Yeah, I was looking at Danny's Wikipedia page the other day. I think he's played for 25 teams.
He played for everybody. He's played everybody in arena and outdoor. So he's played with all of them. So he's touched them all. Him and I think it's about him and the Johnson kid from Baltimore. They probably played with all the professional teams. So there you go.
Yeah, you talked about Isaac there a little bit, getting an opportunity. What about some other guys on your team from last year? I know you had your kicker was really good. Talk about some of the other guys.
He's got the one thing about Bailey. Bailey is in the process of being an EMT. We've had a great once again. We had great conversation. He's getting to that point where I think life and fatherhood has kind of got to him, and so we've kept in contact in regards to what he want to do. But in the end, the one thing, like I tell all these young men, your father first. You got to take care of your responsibility. Football is only so much of your life. He wants to set up his wife and his beautiful son, for a long time to come. So there's a strong possibility that he might not be back. We've talked about it, but we've got guys that we've got a couple of guys that we're looking at that I know can handle it.
Winning once, one championship is hard. Repeating is even harder. What's it going to take for the Billings Outlaws to repeat as champs this year?
Don't worry about what happened in 2024. This is a new team. This is a new journey. We can't get caught up in that. And the one thing that these guys who are coming in have to understand, don't get caught up in the noise outside our building. Our job realistically is to make sure that whatever's happened to us that day, that we take it and we win that battle. Don't allow the people outside the building to talk about it. Allow them to talk about the championship, because once that clock hit zero, and then it took us about 4 days to get back here. That's when the 2025 season started. And I go back to our coaches clinic in Chicago. We've got some competitive coaches in this league, and I know that they're going to be gunning. But the one thing is, we can't make this no bigger than what it is. It's football. And we've got to make sure that we take care of business 1 week at a time.
Absolutely. Yeah. One last question for you. You got a message for the fans out there?
Just keep enjoying it. Stay with us. I know last year was rough, but we got the right people in the right spots. We got the right type of leadership. We've got some great coaches coming in that you're going to hear about later. That's going to help this league, and we're going to get back to where we need to be.
Absolutely. One last question I actually meant to ask you a minute ago. Do you expect Cedric Bonner to return as one of your assistants?
I don't think Cedric's coming back. Cedric has got, he's got a son now that, Mace is being recruited, and I think it's at the point now where, he's like one of the tops in Colorado, and he's got a youngin in Cam that can absolutely slang it. So I think realistically he's going to, focus on that. I think, Miss Bonner allowed us that 1 year, so we appreciate that. But no, I don't see Ced coming back.
Okay. Yeah, I saw a picture of him and Ricky Foggy up in Minnesota.
Yeah, you see how tall his son is, and you got to realize his son. Both his sons are athletes. Thank God his wife is a great athlete, because I don't know where they got it from, but no, losing Ced was tough. I think we're going to be okay at the OC spot, but he went out as a champion. Hopefully we can get him to do some play-by-play stuff. I know that him and Jerry and them are real close, so hopefully we can get him to do that.
Yeah, he's really good at that stuff.
He's really good. He's really good.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach, I appreciate your time, man.
Man, thank
We'll
you
talk
very
to you
much.
soon.
And we appreciate what you do for us, man. Keep doing what you're doing.
All right. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Josh,
Yeah.
it's Jeff.
Okay, let me get you on here, man.
Are we on yet or no?
Oh, we're on. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we're on.
Well, how's it going?
All right. How are you, Coach?
I'm doing good. I owe you a big apology. I had a lot going on tonight, and I got my wires crossed. I was sitting there thinking we were going to go at 8:30 my time, and wondering where the call was coming from. So I apologize. So I owe you one. And I'll make sure that you collect.
We'll talk about the schedule release with you here in just a second. But first off, I remember reading in the Nashville paper early on when you first got involved with the Cats that you were just going to help out. You didn't want a full-time day job. But fast forward here a year later, you're the commissioner of the league. So how's your retirement going, and how's this experience been for you?
Well, I don't remember saying I didn't want a full-time day job. I could have, but I did. I got in because my curiosity got the best of me, and I had some friends and people that asked if I would help out a little bit, and I did, and I had a blast. And then, we hit a few roadblocks, if you will, and then I was going to get it fixed, and so I committed to it. I've had the time of my life, even through the difficult times as we scrambled and scratched and clawed to finish last year with the bowl game. But this is why I stayed in it for days like this, and a lot of good things that are also going to happen in the future. So I appreciate the opportunity. I'm really, really excited about specifically the work that the administrative staff has done over the last couple months. It's so well thought out, and I've said this numerous times. I mean, in life, you want to be successful, you need to surround yourself with the best possible people that you can, and all get on the same page. And there's decades of experience in our front office, and then the rest falls into place. And there's great owners, great coaches, and a lot of players that they put smiles on my face this past year to watch them play with the energy and the respect that they had for the game. So I got hooked, and y'all are stuck with me now.
We're glad to have you, man. Everybody knows you as a former NFL coach. What's been the adjustment like to the arena game? I know you're a defensive guy, so how do you deal with all these points being scored?
Let me clarify something. A defensive guy, what do you do for a living? You defend offenses, right? So I think most defensive guys in that world could flip over and coach offenses in a heartbeat. But what I like about this game, and I'm being honest when I say this now, my first exposure, I didn't watch this game on a network or television. I was aware of it, but I was so busy. Didn't have time while the Cats were doing their thing here. New coach Sperduto, and was a fan, but I didn't have time to even watch highlights. All I got to see on occasion was the hot tub. But this is really fun. I mean, it is challenging and fun. We didn't have going into this past year. Our rule book was in a state of flux, and we had to change things on a weekly basis, and but we got it going right now. The rule book is done. People worked hard on it. This game is you can't find a game where you're 12 points behind with 12 seconds left and you win. In this game, you can, and I watched it. Scenarios like that last year, and I watched as many as I could. So I'm excited about it. Football's football, but this is different. It's completely different. And the 50-yard game, there's so many challenges. I mean, I tell a story, and I told it tonight, and I'll tell it again. I have a lot of friends in Montana. I got a place up there. Cats went to Billings. I had some buddies come down for the first time. and they're still talking about it. And it's that first time experience because it's an intimate game. The fan and the interaction with the players and the respect that the players show for one another. And so I'm in a time where I want to give back. I've been giving back. In essence, that's what coaching is you help people. And so I'm looking forward to what's ahead. There's a great group ahead, a great group working together. We got a long-term plan, we got a short-term plan, and with the new additions, I when we say, oh, we got expansion teams, we got 4. Yeah, we're all expansion teams last year. So, and that was a rough year. So, we just have, we got 8 teams in AF1 that, they went through a rough preseason, if you will, and we got through it, and we were able to, name a champion, and now the thing's for real. So now it gets started.
Yeah, absolutely. Any games out there on the schedule you're looking forward to? As we talked about the schedule a little bit earlier today.
Every single one of them. I'm gonna see as many as I possibly can. There's great venues. I got on the road a little bit. I mean, I got to Billings, I got to Albany, and that was about it. Because at the end, I had to stay put and watch games. But I'm going to try to get out to all of them. That's going to be a challenge, but I want to go out and see them. Being able to watch these games that we streamed this past year was fascinating to me. The enthusiasm, the fan base, the fan interaction stuff that the clubs were doing, and even the broadcast. I mean, I was fascinated, and I dovetail off of that. We had Eli Gold broadcast our games, who had broadcast many indoor or arena football games in the past, and he was the voice for 20 some years as the Crimson Tide. And so, in addition to that, I have intentions of working closely with, with the NFL and the officiating department. Anybody want to come down and have interest in doing our games? We'd love to have them. There's over 50%, I'm told, of referees in the NFL right now, white hats, that have some experience in indoor arena football. And so we got a lot of stuff going ahead I think you can feel the enthusiasm, even though it's been a long day. I'm pretty fired up about where this thing's going.
Yeah, excited to get this thing going too. Y'all did a great job there in Nashville. What can you take from Nashville for the league as a whole?
Well, Nashville, I mean, every situation is different. Our situation was we didn't have a team, but we had a fan base, and we had to wake them up and tell them we're here. And, I think we could have done a better job of that. But I mean, we were truly a startup franchise. By that, I mean, we didn't have a shoelace or a shoe or a shoulder pad or a helmet. And so we had to get everything together in a short period of time. And that's a challenge. But now that year's behind us, we're, this franchise is ready to go. It's a great city. Demographics are awesome, as you know. And, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of reason to come here. There's it's not like we're startup. There's a fan base. We're just got to do a better job reaching out to them, and we're going to do so. And that, I speak that way, on behalf of the whole league. I'm representing the ownership in these leagues now, and obviously I live in Nashville, and I want to see them be successful, and we're going to have people in place to do that. But I'm also representing the league. But so we'll have a standard, and not that Nashville is going to be our standard, because it'll take us a couple of years to catch up with, some of these more storied venues or franchises that we have in the league, like in Albany and Billings and in Orlando, and some of the others. So it's going to be really fun for me to watch it all come together.
What's your involvement in Nashville going to be going forward, since you're the commissioner now?
My involvement in Nashville, we're gonna. I live in Nashville, and I'm going to speak on behalf of the league. And if someone's got questions for me, I'm happy to speak on them as well. I'm going to have you can't walk away from something that you started in a year, and so I don't have any intention of leaving the franchise. But I also my focus is going to be on the league because I'm representing all the owners.
What are your goals and expectations for the league this year, and what do you want to see accomplished this year?
Well, those are good questions. We're going to get off to a good start. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, and I say that after we finished up with the rule book, we finished up with the expansion teams. We got the schedule out, but there's still a lot of stuff that needs to get done, and that is basically connecting with the fan base. And how to go about doing that through sponsors and through contacts and everything. And there's a lot of stuff going on, and so want to make sure that people are maximizing every opportunity, and they're sharing the good news of this of AF1 and what's ahead. So it's just just to get our product out there as quickly as we can and as best we can.
Last question I have for you tonight. You accomplished a ton in the outdoor game, but when it's all said and done and your time as commissioner is done, how do you want your legacy and impact on the arena game to be remembered?
This isn't about me. None of anything that I ever did was about me. I just enjoy helping people. And so and helping players, and it's just kind of where I was wired. And so I'm gonna, I made a commitment to them, and I'm gonna do the best I can to help everybody have successful franchises, help players, help however I can. I want, I love this game, and now this game is different as you pointed out, but it's still play with the same ball. Still got to throw the brown thing around and catch it and kick it and do all that. And I love what this game does for people. And I've seen it change lives, obviously, for my whole career, and influence lives in a positive way. And I want to make sure that we, as a small part of the overall game itself, are doing our part.
Yeah, absolutely. Got Coach Burt here in the waiting room from Orlando, so I'll let you go, Coach. It was great talking to you, and I hope to talk to you again.
Thank you so much. I appreciate everything that you're doing for us, and enjoy your next guest. He's outstanding man.
Absolutely, yeah. Thanks,
Okay,
Coach.
thank you. Guest. He's outstanding man.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
We're now joined by the Orlando Predators head coach, E.J. Burt. Coach, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great tonight.
Good to see you. You opened the season with no other than Albany. I've talked to you enough to know that you kind of downplay the rivalry aspect of it, but this is a big game to open the year for you. What are your thoughts on opening the season at home against Albany?
I mean, it's excited about all the games that were. It's always a great matchup against Albany, so excited about it, and but I'm excited about every game that we play. It's good to start out with a test right off the bat, see what you got, see what they got, and so put together so far, and line it up. Just the mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. You're coming off a difficult season in 2023. Then you become the head coach. You lost your first two games last season to really good teams and turned around and finished with 5 straight wins to finish the year 5-2. Had a lot of momentum going into the playoffs. Played a really bad game, though, against the Cats. What do you think happened in that game, and what do you think that a lot of fire into your players you head into the offseason here?
I mean, there's things that I felt may have played a part, but it don't matter. You still got a game to play. So Nashville got the better end of it that night, and it is what it is. There's no point in going back. You watch the film, figure out what you did wrong, and make sure that never happens again. But, like I said, ain't no excuses. They gave it to us that night. And like I said, we head into a new year, and the goal is to have that never happen to us again.
One thing I thought was huge for you all late in the season was going to Albany and finally being able to beat them. You'd probably agree you probably should have beat them twice last year. But I thought that was really big, you all getting over the hump in your first year. What are your thoughts on kind of getting over the hump against Albany this year?
I mean, with our guys, I want them to have the expect win, just put in the work and expect to win and do everything to do to win. I don't want them going into games thinking any other way. And so, whether it's Albany or it's anybody else, you expect to go into that game, you expect to win, you expect, your hard work to pay off and things to fall your way. But, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, you can't expect to win. You can't expect things to go your way if you're not handling things the right way.
Through seeing a lot of teams fold during last season and all the other issues coaches and a lot of people had, does it make you more thankful to be in Orlando and be able to be in a stable franchise that's not going anywhere? What makes Orlando so special to you?
For me, I have a history. I played here, back in the day, Jay Gruden and, Fran Papasadero, Les Moss, and those guys gave me a chance back in the day. Brett Muncie, those guys gave me a chance. And so, it's a franchise that gave me a chance back in the day. And, I had, some good years playing here. And so it means a lot to me to be part of this franchise and put us back in championship talks and holding up championship trophies. Like that's the goal. And it means more to me than just being a head coach. There's a legacy here, and I feel I'm part of this legacy and excited to be a part of, bringing us back to where we need to be.
Absolutely. Yeah. This is your first year as a head coach, I believe, in the AFL Arena game. How would you grade yourself? How do you think you did this year, and what did you learn as a head coach in the first year?
Championship, so I give myself an A or a B or anything like that. I do this. I want to win championships. I don't want to do this to say I had a good year. So in my eyes, if it learn to give it a grade, it's again go off of last year. It's there's things I learned about, how to manage the players that I bring in and play calling, offense, defense, my guys in the right position, and managing the practices and things like that. It's a different dynamic from a head coaching standpoint as opposed to being a coordinator. But it's some good lessons learned. Like I said, I'm excited about what I learned. I'm excited about the staff that we have and what we built together, and ready to take another run at this and take the experiences that we had, and again bring a championship back to Orlando is the only goal.
Yeah, absolutely. You announced on the breakdown the other night that all your coaching staff's coming back. I've interviewed all your coaches. I've talked to them. You all seem to have a special bond together. What's it like working with this group of coaches for you?
Me and Coach Richardson go back to playing together back in the Cape Fear days. You're talking 2002, and I've known him since then. And Coach Sip, we played together back in the day and played against each other. So, we got a nice little history together as well. And Coach Manuel, we've been together since I came back and started coaching with the Preds, over 5 years ago. So we have a history together. We have a bond outside of football, outside of coaching, outside of everything. So, it's a personal bond. So to see each other's successes and things go through, it makes us that much stronger when we go through, what we went through in the past, and, bond makes us stronger going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. What are your overall thoughts on everything that's happened this offseason with the league change and the new expansion markets that's been added?
I'm excited. I'm excited about things moving forward. Again, you can't change some of the things that happen have happened. You take that and, you look at it as what's the plan going forward? What did you learn from past experiences? And you build from there. But I'm excited to see where the league is going, with the guys like Jerry and Gary and Jeff Fisher, with those guys on board. I'm excited to be part of, something that we're all, building together. And like I said, just with those guys, they have the experience to know what needs to be done. And so, I'm excited to see what, they put out in front of us and what they build. And like I said, I'm excited to be a part of it.
Absolutely. You're going to be in a really tough division this year. Nashville and Albany's in your division. We'll see how Wilkes-Barre does. But what are your thoughts on the division? It's possible a good team ends up not making the playoffs in this division. It's going to be tough. So what's your thoughts?
It's always tough. Felt that the South in the past was always one of the toughest. And so looking at our conference, I feel like it's one of the toughest. But again, that's what you have in front of you. So, you look at that and you say, all right, it may be tough, but it is what it is, and let's go. I mean, it's nothing about it that makes you think anything other than, okay, that's the path that we got to go, and we got to go that route. So, but I like the competition that we have in our division. Again, I'm just excited to get this thing going.
Absolutely. I really like you got 3 of the historical teams counting yourselves in that division. So that's a lot of fun. So heading in the off season, do you think what do you needed to make or what changes do you need to make to the roster, and where do you think you were missing last season?
I don't feel like we were missing anything. I like the roster that we had, but things happen again. You still got to play the game no matter what your roster is. You still got to play the game, and it has to be your night every night. Especially when it comes to playoffs, you can't have an off night and use that excuse. So then looking at the roster now, it's it's just you're just retooling. So, you're able to keep some players. You're not able to keep everybody, and you have to keep the roster fresh. You can't bring back the same roster every single year, even if you wanted to. You're not going to be able to keep the same roster. So it's just retooling, adding some new pieces, and adding some new dynamics to what you got going, and getting ready, line it back up, and hopefully you put together a great team and go from there. Like I said, every single year you're not going to be able to keep the same roster, nor do you necessarily want to keep the same roster. You have to add some new bodies, some new blood to your roster.
Absolutely. Where are you at currently on the roster? How far do you got to go on it?
Probably a little over halfway through. Got to add a couple more pieces. We got plenty of time. We got plenty of tryouts coming up and things that are put together by the league to help us develop talent and find talent. So it's time, but I like what we're doing so far with our roster.
Yeah, you're going to have a change at quarterback this year. I know Drew Powell signed with the Rattlers. What do you think about that position, and where do you think you're at with that?
I like what we have. Our quarterback room. I like Andre Sill, who we have. I think he's a guy he's been dynamic. He's been awesome, over the last couple of years, and it's great to have him part of what we're doing and leading the way. He's able to grab some plays, and then we have Cooper Callis. So he has some experience as well in this league. So again, I'm excited about our but again, I love what we have, and excited to see.
Coach Burke, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry, I lost you there for a second. Any key pieces of the roster y'all had last season that for sure won't return next year, or guys that's moved up to a bigger level?
The off season, so I can't say who we definitely won't be able to bring back or whatever the case may be. You know, there's still negotiations going on. There's still, you know, so you know, that's something I can't really answer to. Who's definitely going to be back? I can tell you who's you know, as of right now. You know, we have CJ or Clarence Williams. We have Torrey Boyd that's back. Dylan Barnes is back. Shahan Williams, Kobe. So and Cecil Cherry. So we got some good guys, some good pieces that we already have back. New piece. Lex Rosario. We have DJ Harvey, Trey Meadows. Some pieces that I'm excited about. You know, coached against these guys and excited to see, you know, them in our system, along with the pieces that, you know, we have back.
Yeah, absolutely. Last question for you. Last year, you turned around a team that was 4-8 and turned them into a winner, going 5-2, finally getting over the hump, beating Albany on the road. What needs to happen for you all to take the next step this year and to win a championship in this first year in the AF1?
We just need to finish, take it 1 week at a time, and understand the goal. No matter what's going on, you still have a goal, you still have a job to do. And so for our guys, it's about building that chemistry. But the same caliber of talent going into this year and learn from what we did and we're not able to do last year. Move forward, but you know, I have confidence in myself. I have confidence in my coaches and my players that we, you know, where we need to be and in the championship talks. And again, our goal is to bring a championship, not just have a good year. It's for us. We have to have a championship here in Orlando.
Absolutely. I had said last question, but one more question. Message for your fans out there, or AF1 fans in general?
Shoot, just come out and support. Go pray. We're excited, you know. Crazy John's down here. You need to come to the games and catch Crazy John and catch the Preds out. You know, again, we're ready to go down here in Orlando. We're
Crazy
excited
John's
down here. That's the man.
I'm just joking. Coach, always great to talk to you, man. We'll talk soon. Appreciate your time tonight.
Sounds good. I appreciate you having me on. Look forward to talking to you in the future.
Yeah. This has been Rebound Off the Net. It's been a long night, guys. We're passing 10 o'clock on the West Coast, or on the East Coast. I'm sorry. Sorry for any technical delay or issues tonight. We'll get this up. We're going to edit this version. So we'll talk to you soon. Appreciate everybody's time tonight. Always remember, catch the rebound off the net.